It's glad to be back on radio again. It's 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. I am Chike Ubogo, and the program is The Podium. On the podium this morning, we shall be looking at the fallout of the APC Congress in Oyo State. What happened last week and what happened during the week and what is expected to happen in the nearest future. I have with me in the studio a former Minister of Communications and a chieftain of the APC in Oyo State, Barrister Adebayo Shitu. Good morning, former Honorable Minister, or do I call you that?
Well, once an honorable, always an honorable.
It's good to see you once again after a very long while.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, you look radiant this morning.
Thank God.
You don't even look stressed. I know it's been there for the week has been long for you.
God has been wonderful.
There has been confusion over the status of the State Congress of the Oyo State branch of the All Progressives Congress, as a faction claimed it has elected new officers to fill the respective executive positions. Meanwhile, the Unity Forum, a major subgroup of the party, said no Congress was held in the state last week Saturday. According to my guest, the former Minister of Communications, that's Barrister Adebayo Shitu here, he said then, 6 days ago, that the Congress had earlier been cancelled by the National Secretariat of the APC and no Congress was held in Oyo State. Barrister, let's start this way. The crisis in the APC in Oyo State has been brewing for a long time. And then some people will ask questions, especially during the week when we got some feedback from the street. They said since the former governor of Oyo State passed on, the party in the state has not been together, unlike what it used to be in the past. Do you agree with this assertion?
Well, I'm one person who always speaks the truth, no matter whose ox is God. I'm also one person who, even if I am alone in speaking the truth, I believe and trust that God is with me at all times. The problem within the party didn't start from the demise of the late governor, late leader. It started during his governorship and during his leadership of the party. You will recall that sometime in 2018, we held two different, congresses. One at Liberty Stadium, one at Adama Simba, Stadium. That was when the problem started. But we thank God that I must say that despite everything, the party is making progress. Because you would discover that despite the perceived problems and perceived divisions, you don't have people leaving APC for other parties. The reverse has always been the case. So to that extent, I would say that notwithstanding divisions, of course in politics you will have divisions. It's not like a classroom situation where you have a master and and students, which is a kind of master and servant relationship. You don't have in politics a situation where you have a company executive and every staff must say yes sir to whatever he says. Interests are diverse and people have their come from different backgrounds. Everybody trying to pursue his enlightened self-interest. To that extent, I would say that there's nothing new that is happening in APC.
So it's normal.
It's a normal thing.
It's a normal thing.
Divisions will occur, but at the end of the day, we disagree to agree at the end of the day.
You said your party is making progress, but it seems to be in disarray right now from the feelers we have and from what is evident to us. You are a member of the Unity Forum, right?
Certainly.
You were not part of the people that endorsed that list, the delegate list, prior to the Congress, right?
Which one?
The one that was released by the chairman of the Elders Advisory Council of your party in Oyo State. You see, that's Otumba Lawakala.
You see, number one, that Congress of Saturday 20th.
Yes.
was an exercise in futility. And I'm serious about it. It was an exercise in futility because a week earlier, the national chairman of the party had given us a 2-week period, when the Congress should hold, that is today. That 2 week is today.
Okay.
Some people then went around to, formulate some abracadabra and moved it to an earlier date of last week. Without the knowledge of the national chairman of our party. So when the national leadership of the party met with all stakeholders in Oyo State 2 days ago.
On Thursday.
Yes. They apologized for the mix-up and said that Congress of 30th of October was unauthorized.
So it was a mix-up, right?
It was a mix-up. It was unauthorized.
And it was from where? Where did the mix-up come from?
I don't want to go into details. The
people of Oyo State want to know the details because some people are confused.
Let me tell you, we were not part of it. Unity Forum and their partners. And now we have so many partners.
But INEC monitored that Congress.
It doesn't matter. Whatever information or misinformation that was given to INEC would prod INEC into being part of it. But even if INEC wrote the 100 or 1,000 page report saying it is proper, our party, will have the last say. And our party is saying that Congress of 30th was a non-event, and they apologized. And everybody was there. All sides were there when the national secretary of the party apologized for that mix-up and say that we should discountenance it.
The national secretary of the party apologized.
Apologized, all of us.
The people that conducted the Congress in Oyo State, they were also there.
When the apology was being rendered. And nobody challenged him. Nobody could have challenged him.
Who out of them were there? Was Otumba Lawakala with you there in Abuja?
Otumba Akala was not there.
Was Teslim Folarin there?
Teslim was there with all of his followers.
All of his followers? The likes of Kehinde Suba, Honorable.
Look, more than 20 of them were there.
On Thursday?
Yes, on Thursday. I mean, we are speaking on air now. Let anybody come and challenge me that apology was not rendered.
You people seem to look at you seem to relegate Otumba Lawakala, after the Congress on Saturday, on the 30th.
Well, it was not about relegating him. You see, there's no doubt that Otumba Akala is part of the fray that is happening. We have tendencies, about 6 tendencies within the party, and he's part of one of the tendencies. So to that extent, his neutrality has been called to question. That is one. But even before that, one thing which some people have tried to do and which we have always corrected is that we have a leader who is not in government in the party. The constitution of APC does not recognize the position of leader either at the state level or at the national level. But by convention, when you have a seated governor, he is honorarily recognized as leader because of the power of the purse to be assisting the party with finances and so on and so forth. But today, unfortunately, we don't have anybody as governor from within our party.
Must it be a governor to be a leader?
It must be a governor. In the absence of a governor, the state chairman doubles as the leader of the party. And that was also reaffirmed at last Thursday's meeting.
Okay.
That the state chairman, for the time being, the state chairman is also leader of the party. That is
Chief Akioke, if I'm not
okay, exactly.
So what happens to Isaac Omodewu?
Well, Isaac Omodewu, with no respect to him, is a non-event. Isaac Omodewu was living in fantasy. You see, we are all supposed to be very intelligent and honorable people. And I always challenge many of our people. If we call ourselves progressives, which should be our proper, why do we refuse to do things properly? Why do we do as if we are the same as any other party? And I say this, if gold rose, how much less lesser metals? So APC must remain a progressive party. We must do things in a very noble way. come to think of it,
Yes.
even if we assumed that the Teslim crowd is giving the go-ahead, is giving ticket, can he, without the rest of us, win any election in Oyo State? Even when we had a sitting governor, because of crisis like this, self-induced crisis like this, we lost it. Must we now not put our thinking caps on and do things differently in such an inclusive way that everybody would become a foot soldier for the party in the next election? So if people think that out of 5, 6 tendencies, only one tendency would think he can, go alone, I mean, he be living in a fantasy.
Talking about tendencies, and we go back to Otumba Alao Akala. Your party, the core APCs, that is the Unity Forum, you tend not to trust former Governor Alao Akala because of his antecedents in former parties. Especially, some of you feel that his blood reels out PDP and he's within your party.
Let me tell you, I have been a PDP before. So the core issue is not whether one is PDP now or in the past.
Yeah.
The core issue should be getting people to do things right. I mean, it's not everybody in PDP that is bad. I mean, there are noble people there like all others. But I think the problem is with the Nigerianness in us.
But why are you scared of Otumba Alao Akala and Senator Teslim Fulani?
Why must I? It's not about being scared.
If you're not, then you allow the Congress stand.
Which Congress? An illegality to stand? The Yorubas have this adage. What we are after is, look, I mean, let me tell you, I'm an aspirant for the governorship. But I'm not desperate about it.
You were an aspirant or you are?
I will continue to be an aspirant even for 2023.
You contest again?
I will contest again. If I don't win the party primary, once the election which produces a candidate is free, fair, and acceptable to all sides, I would offer to be the chairman of the campaign organization of whoever emerges.
But you didn't do that in the last election. Because
of the illegality of the last election. Because some of us were
shortchanged, right?
Shortchanged.
I remember speaking with you the eve to that election, to that primaries in 2019.
Yes.
We had a chat, and then you said you were not going to be a part of that primaries, and you didn't go.
No, it was not about not being. I was excluded. There was a conspiracy against me.
About your certificate?
Well, they said I didn't.
You didn't serve.
I didn't serve.
Yes.
But serving in NYSC is not a precondition to contesting any election under the Nigerian Constitution. Particularly previous elections and the current 1999 election. Let me also tell you, it will interest you.
Yes.
Even our late leader, Governor Ajimobi, also never served. But he was given the party ticket for Senate, while somebody who behaved like him, was denied the ticket. How do you then? I mean, I'm not a bastard. So what I'm saying, in essence, is let things be done rightly.
Talking about your NYSC certificate, we'll delve into that before we leave that part. now, it was upheld, and at the end of the day, you didn't contest.
What was upheld?
Of course, it was by your party.
Well, illegally. I mean, it was through a conspiracy.
But you didn't go to court.
I went to court.
Did you win your case?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
If our party had won the governorship, I would have sustained
that injunction.
That case.
Yeah. Okay.
I would have sustained it. But since the party didn't win, another person won. I mean, what if
he rears up his ugly hair? Like you said, that you are coming up again in 2023. By the grace
of God, nobody is going to stop me from, contesting the primary.
So you're saying you don't have your NYSC certificate and you don't.
It
doesn't.
A pre-qualification. Let me remind you also. Perhaps you know, perhaps you don't.
Yeah.
The current governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, didn't serve.
Yes.
He contested that election, won the election, and PDP took him to court, asking the court to nullify his victory on the purported basis of he not having
NYSC certificate.
And the court said, there's no part of the Constitution of Nigeria which says for you to contest an election, you ought to have served.
That's Barrister Adebayo Shitu is saying that he will contest again in 2023.
By the grace of God.
Don't you think you're wasting so much money?
It's not about wasting money. It's about the desire to serve. Let me tell you something. I'm not an arrogant person, and I'm not a pompous person. But I say with due respect to all my colleagues in APC, that there's nobody who has the experience that I have politically.
Yeah.
I started politics as a lawyer 42 years ago. I'm the only aspirant who has been a member of the House of Assembly, who has twice been commissioner at the state level, and who has also been a minister. No other person has that exposure. And these are experiences you cannot buy from the marketplace.
Why don't you look at you going to the Senate instead of you being eyeing the seat at Agudu?
Why Senate? Why not governorship?
Because you've been trying all this while and it is not working.
President Muhammad Buhari won only at the 4th time. And several American presidents.
So you feel it's your time now?
Well, I believe so, and I hope that my colleagues will concede that to me.
It is your time, right?
Sure, by the grace of God, for the purpose of doing things differently and more purposely and more beneficially to the people of the state.
Coming back to your Congress, Otumba Lawa Kala, I'll keep mentioning his name because he's the chairman of the Elders Advisory Council in your party.
You see, I have my utmost respect to her.
Yes.
I have my utmost respect. He was the deputy governor in our PDP government of Ghana.
Yes.
And we have been together since that time.
Yes.
Because we both come from Oyo North Senatorial District.
Yes.
So I have my respect for him.
Yes.
Utmost respect.
Yes.
But when it comes to the issue of APC,
yes,
some people wanted him to be chairman of Elders Committee. Okay. I mean, I have nothing about that.
But you were not a party to it. That's why I'm going to.
You see, what I was opposed to is the designation of anybody as leader of APC. That's different from being chairman of Elders Committee. Of course, he's the elders among us, and he's the one who's been governor before. But so, I mean, I give that to him. You know, he was appointed as chairman of Elders Committee, no problem. But my disagreement has always been on the issue of leader, because leader is not recognized in the constitution of the party. So I don't want you to mix the two. I don't have a problem with him being chairman. Of course, Egmo, not just similar. And we gel very well. We move very well. We mix very well. So I respect him.
All right, we'll go on a short commercial break. And when we come back, it's still the podium. I've been discussing with the former Honorable Minister of Communication, Barrister Adebayo Shitu. He says he wants to become governor again in 2023. Will that happen? Let's keep our fingers crossed. It's still 2 years to the time. Don't go away. It's still the podium.
Ìbàdàn máa ń mì tìtìtì lọ́jọ́ Wednesday 10th November 2021. Nígbà tí gbogbo ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ àtọ́ríṣeré pẹ̀lú Ọ̀yọ́ bá kóra jọ pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀kùlù lóòkì ní Trans Amusement Park Ìbàdàn fún bá birthday ti 2021. Ọjọ́ yẹn máa lóyin ládùn yàtọ̀. Alhaji Wasiu Alabi Pasuma máa dàlú àlùjọ bọ̀lẹ̀ látàgọ́ mọ́kànlá òwúrọ̀ ni o. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹnjìníà Ṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé ní bàbá ọjọ́ yẹn. Chief Mrs. Mutiat Adéwọ̀lú Ọládọjà ní màmá ọjọ́ yẹn o. Alágàrí Chief Mrs. Olúwatóyìn Adélèké. Chief Mrs. Sarah kò ní bàjẹ́. Màmá ẹ̀sàlẹ́gbẹ́ àtọ́ríṣe máa wà ń kalẹ̀. Apostle Dr. S.M.O. Mustapha JP bàbá ṣẹ́bí ọba ní spiritual father of the day. Àǹkárá tá a mú níbi sàláàtì wọlé o. Trans Amusement Park Ìbàdàn láti máa pàdé lọ́jọ́ Wednesday. Bẹ́ẹ̀rẹ̀ àgbàbẹ́ Abadre sí any robot venture package. Lájọ máa ṣe olùkéde gbogbo àgbà ẹgbẹ́ àtọ́ríṣe. Orí ìwà ò ní burú o. Àbábá fine course.
Orí mi sọ̀rọ̀ o, mo bá lọ́wọ́ dákúdájẹ́ ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ ODG store ọ̀dọ́ yín rẹ̀. Ibẹ̀ gangan ni ODG store àkọ́kọ́lùkọ́ iléeṣẹ́ títa ojúlówó ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lọ́nà tó rọrùn pẹ̀lú sísanwó rẹ̀ díẹ̀ pẹ̀lú 30% down payment. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ tó lálòpẹ́ tí kì í ṣe fòdìkúfòláńdé. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ bíi Tecno, Infinix, Itel, Nokia, Samsung, iPhone, Oppo, Vivo, phone accessory àtàǹfààní tí lọ́lọ́wọ́ tó lò fi ṣe wìtìwìtì. Ríra iPhone UK use pẹ̀lú iPhone tuntun lónìí ràn. Ra fóònù kó máa sanwó rẹ̀ díẹ̀ lè rọ́ọ̀fì pọ̀ bíbà ní ODG store. Ìwọ náà gbé bọ́dì lónìí mọ́lẹ̀ kó wá jẹ́fàn tí lọ́lọ́wọ́ ODG store wà ní Yakoyo shopping plaza 6423. ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lọ́nà tó rọrùn tí gbèsè ayé ẹni ó fi káyàtà ó díjì stọ̀ làmí ẹ̀.
gbogbo olólùfẹ́ àtúníbàárà gold mender global investment limited ẹ tún kú àmójúbà ayẹyẹ gbàǹgbàǹgbà kọ̀kọ́ lúkọ̀kọ́ 7th anniversary crowning the face of gold mender and 3rd edition of the unveiling of the new brand ambassador for the year 2022. gbogbo ẹ̀yin iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá tẹ́ ẹ mọ iye àwọn ojú tó pawọ́ ìràwọ̀ òṣèré amúlùdùn tó lé lọ́gọ́ta 60 láti jẹ brand ambassador fún iléeṣẹ́ yín lówó péréte pẹ̀lú àdéhùn ọdún kan gbáko. lára wọn ni Fẹ́mi Adébáyọ̀, Múyìwá Adémọ́lá, Yẹmí Ṣọ́ládé, Kọ́láwọlé Ajéyẹmí, Kamilu Kọ̀ǹpó, Dr. Jọkẹ́ Múyìwá, Táyé Kọ́rẹ́nsì, Tóyọ̀sí Adésànyà, Wásílà Kódẹ̀, Dàmọ́lá Ọlátúnjí, Aisha Lawal, Mama No Network, Yíwándé Adékọ̀yà, Mùtíwà Adépọ̀jù, Ẹniọlá Àfíì, Gbẹ̀ngà Adéyínká, Big Bọ́lájí, Ṣèyí Lọ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Coming up on Thursday 16 December 2021 at MOV 21 Event Center opposite First Bank, Ring Road, Ìbàdàn, 10 a.m. prompt. Call 0803-413-6370. Gold Mender Grand Occasion. You must be there.
Golden Mon, your favorite breakfast cereal, is 35 years. Made in Niger, for Niger, by Niger. Now see us from Niger to the world.
Global now.
All thanks to you. So let's celebrate this journey with over 35 million in cash and prizes. Just return 2 empty 900-gram Heritage Edition sachets to your closest redemption center for an instant prize and a chance to be a millionaire. Visit the Golden Morn Nigerian pages on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Uncle Dentist, what be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Shey they use Comfu?
No dear, na hole for teeth they cause most tooth pains will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Ombo, Daniel Kolenda, nílùú Ìbàdàn, sọjí agbára ńlá, sọjí bọ́ńkè, ẹ jáde wá o, ìgbàlà wà níbẹ̀, sọjí ìwòsàn, ìṣẹ́gun wá ṣẹlẹ̀, ìbùkún wá tẹ̀lé, afọ́jú máa ríran, àdìtí.
Agbọ́n mi ní wọlé ẹja, apàjùbà ní balẹ̀ àparò jẹ́, olùgbòǹgbòtìlà ní ṣẹ́gun ògúlùtù, ìsọjí agbára ńlá, ẹni tí bọ́ńkè gbé agbára ìrere lé lọ́wọ́, nígbà tó ń gòkè rí ọ̀run ni mò ń pè rí o, ìyẹn Daniel Kolenda, nǹkan lá máa ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn, ìsọjí ọlọ́jọ́ mẹ́rin tí ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní Thursday ọjọ́ 11 títí di Sunday ọjọ́ 14 November 2021 aago 4 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ojoojúmọ́ ni o gbàgede Asidam tó wà níwọ̀ fún ìyànà church Ìbàdàn ni yóò ti wáyé nígbà tí ìpàdé iná ẹ̀mí mọ́ fún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ nínú ọgbà àjàrà yóò máa lọ ní fẹ̀gbẹ́kẹ̀gbẹ́ láago 6:30 ìdájí lójoojúmọ́ ní pápá ìsọjí yìí kan náà Thursday sísá òde lè yí o ìgbàlá máa ṣẹlẹ̀ afọ́jú máa ríran arọ́ máa rìn inú àgàn máa ṣí ìkúkú ògo Ọlọ́run fẹ́rìn nílùú Ìbàdàn nínú ajírere Daniel Kolenda gbogbo ènìyàn ó yá o Jésù lolúwa.
Kérésìmesì ọdún lẹ́.
ẹ̀yin ọmọdé àsìkò náà tún ti dé wàyí o níbi tí ó ti máa jẹ̀bùn ẹ jẹ́ tiẹ̀ ṣíwèé ìrántí kàn yín ná kí ẹ gbọ́ díẹ̀ nínú àtẹ̀yìnwá.
ọmọ yìí ti jẹ́
TV alálẹ̀ mọ́gìrì 32 inches lẹ́tí láǹfààní àti jẹ fọ́mọ yín báyìí o. èyí tó wà nù káàdì yẹn náà ni Android phone. ọmọ yín ti jẹ́ kẹ̀kẹ́.
ètò lẹ́tà sí Santa olójoojúmọ́ láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ ló tún ti gbìnàyà níbi tá ó ti máa yí koto oríire láago 5 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 15 sáago 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ àti aago 5 sí 6 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ní gbogbo òpin ọ̀sẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹgbẹ̀rún náírà péré o lè mú fọ́ọ̀mù lẹ́tà sí Santa rẹ kí Santa rẹ ó sì gbà ọ́ lálejò ní gbọ̀ngàn ìtajà ìgbàlódé ti Jericho Mall tàbí bí ẹ bá ń fẹ́ kí a gbé Santa tí wọ́n bá bá yín lálejò nínú ẹ̀kọ́ tiyín bẹ̀rẹ̀ látọjọ́ 23 oṣù kọkànlá sí ọjọ́ 24 oṣù kejìlá ọdún tá a wà yìí ẹ pè Aunty Yellow sí 0803-651-5050 tàbí Aramide sórí 0704-4263-290 season 2 lẹ́tà sí Santa tọdún yìí pẹ̀lú ìgbọ̀wọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ Colgate, Kellogg's, Flour Mills Nigeria àti àtìlẹ́yìn Power Oil.
All right, welcome back. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. Yusuf Hakim on Facebook. He says, Honorable Barrister Chief Adebayo Shitu here. He says, you betrayed Chief Obafemi Awolowo by your actions then, having dined and wined with him. You decamped to NPN. If truly you are a progressive man indeed, all these balu shouldn't be coming from you. Please let APC have peace. That is coming from you.
Let me quickly respond.
Yeah.
With due respect to him, he's speaking out of complete and utter ignorance.
Okay.
If he knows history, I'm sure he was still young then. I was in UPN because of my active anti-corruption posture within the party. I was dismissed from the party.
Okay.
If I was dismissed, do I go and sleep at home?
No.
Of course, it would be stupid of me, and I'm not a stupid person. And it was not me alone. The then deputy governor, Afolabi, was there.
Yeah.
The Busari Adelakun. So many of us, for one reason or the other, were expelled from the party. Of course, we have to move against the Bola's government at that time. So it's not about balu. He can say anything which fancies him.
Honorable Minister,
very ignorant.
Honorable Minister, you see, we'll still go back to his personal discourse, but let's look at the APC in Oyo State. Okay, last weekend you were at Premier Hotel with a group of people, the likes of the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dare. You had Chief Bayo Adelabu, you had Honorable Shadikpe Akonde, and the people who call themselves the core APC. What was going through your minds then? Did you people, if you had the opportunity, would you have conducted a parallel Congress that day?
Number one, I was not at that meeting. I was outside Ibadan and outside Oyo State, so I was not there.
Because then you knew it wasn't going to happen.
But having said that, I mean, I'm a man of honor. No matter what mischief makers may think, I'm a man of honor. We were in Abuja a week before that time. And we agreed that the Congress was going to take place on the 6th of November, having regard to the fact that we suspected that the delegates list had been manipulated.
Yes.
So we wanted enough time for the party to release the list and for us to cross-check to ensure that what was submitted by the state chairman, Baba Akinke, was what was coming for the purpose of that Congress. Only for some people to go and manipulate the process to bring it back so that that Congress will be rushed, and today it has fallen flat on their faces.
So how then do you had a meeting on Thursday, and you reached a truce on Thursday. So what do we expect from the APC in coming weeks?
The agreement on Thursday was that since there had been zoning of offices to various zones, we have 7 zones in Oyo State.
Yes.
Certain specific positions were zoned to each. They are saying, now you go back to your state, let each zone go and confirm the names that they had submitted. And then you come back. Once that is done, then a meeting will be called again for affirmation purpose only.
Before a date is fixed for a Congress.
No, I mean, we would have, maybe in the Congress or whatever, there will be affirmation. But because our arrangement is consensus, there is not going to be voting. The positions have been zoned to various places. And then, these zones which have been given specific positions should go back to confirm the nomination. It's as simple as that.
So we should be expecting a free and fair, rancor-free APC Congress very soon, State Congress.
I think we don't have, it is inevitable that we must have it. If our party would seriously be looking for the next, victory at the next election.
You want to become governor in 2023. Let's go personal now. What are your ideologies?
Awolowo's ideology.
Awolowo's ideology.
Life more abundant for the people of the state.
How then do you think it is achievable, especially in a very fragile economy like ours?
It's not as if government is completely poor. is about prioritization of projects and of, ideas and all of that. The ideas that I have are anybody who has studied how Awolowo run his government on education, on healthcare, on rural development, on agri, on full employment and all of that. I subscribe to all of them because I was part of the then Committee of Friends which evolved those policies at that time. I was the youngest member of the Committee of Friends. As a matter of fact, I was still a student in the then University of Ife. But every weekend I was going for meetings in Lagos. So I am part and parcel of those who formulated those 4 cardinal programs, and I have expanded from 4 to 7 now. This will not be the best platform for me to espouse.
No, it's not campaign time. We're not campaigning now. But the executive governor of your state today, Engineer Seyi Makinde, is he doing well when it comes to these policies?
Well, he has his own policies. I'm not part of those policies.
Yeah, but is he doing well?
Well, I don't know.
But you're on ground.
It is not.
You're seeing what is happening in your state.
This is not the time for assessing and passing or failing him.
After how many years?
The appropriate time will come.
Oh,
so you better wait.
We're not talking of campaigns now.
No. Yes, I mean all the same. It will be part of campaign. It will be seen as a campaign against him. If I say anything negative now.
No, you're part of the stakeholders in your state.
I will do that at the appropriate time.
Is he doing well when it comes to security?
I have no comment on that for now.
Is he doing well when it comes to agriculture?
I don't even know his agri policies. I've not seen them.
You've not seen any?
No.
So you're telling me that he's not doing anything?
I'm not saying that. I said I have not seen.
You have not seen whatever he's doing?
I have not seen. You are asking of whether he's doing.
Is Oyo State fine?
In what respect?
Environmentally, is he fine?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. Go move on the street and see what you can see.
Engineer Seyi Makinde is doing well, right?
I have not made any such comment, and I'm not going to make any comment now because this is not the appropriate time.
When it comes to governance in your state, do you think the present administration has done relatively well to say, okay, let's give this person another chance?
Of course, we will challenge him at the election. You should know that. And that's a given fact. Because we believe we have better ideas.
What is he doing? What is the present governor doing now today that you feel if you were there, you would have done better?
So everything, I would say.
Everything?
Because my ideas are different from his own. I have a populist idea. I have an Awolowo agenda. And you agree with me that in Nigeria today, over the last 61 years, we've never had the government as more productive, more beneficial to the public as the Awolowo era. So if you just cast your mind to what happened then, you then can see me in that mode.
All right. Still speaking with the former Honorable Minister of Communications, Barrister Adebayo Shitu. He's also a chieftain of the APC in Oyo State. And the program is The Podium. And I am Chike Obogo. Still on the podium. Let's go national. The President Muhammad Buhari, this is going towards the twilight of his administration. He's your man. I know you score him. If I tell you to score him, you give him kudos.
Because I've seen what his government has done.
Yeah, you give him kudos. You give him props.
I've seen it. I've been part of it. I've seen it. And I've seen that there are so many things that he's done that were never done in the past. So you would, it would be most charitable for me to say the truth of what I know of him.
Talking about the truth, can you criticize his government?
Well, you see, the Yorubas have this adage. They say, "Eniti ubani woyewu ko montan shembe." I have been an insider, and I would call him very much above average in several respects. And let me give you one example.
Right.
In the last year's budget of PDP government, in 2014-2015, on federal roads, the federal government budget was 19 billion naira for all roads throughout the country. It is on record that of the 19 billion naira, no one kobo was spent on any road. The monies were simply shared by stakeholders of that PDP government. the first year's budget on federal roads by the Buhari administration, government spent 265 billion naira on roads. And that is how you come to find out that the Lagos-Ibadan Road Expressway, which had been abandoned by the previous government for more than 10 years, was revived. The Oyo-Ogbomoso Road had been abandoned for more than 10 years. This government revived it. The Lagos-Sango-Ota Road had been abandoned, this government. In each of the 6 geopolitical zones, the Buhari administration picked 3 major federal roads and started calling back contractors to site, paying them for their outstanding bills and getting them to work. You also do know that on railways, we've now had it so good. Today, if you are going to Lagos, you don't have to go with your car.
If I want to go to Niger Republic, I'll go through a train.
By
right?
the grace of God, that is coming to be. A lot of people are critical for ethnic reasons about the proposed Kano Maradi Road. And I'll tell you the rationale for it.
Okay.
Today, Niger Republic and other countries,
neighboring countries,
neighbor countries, when they are making their imports, they use, Cotonou seaport and take the luggage by land up north to Niger Republic. Niger Republic, being a landlocked country, depend entirely on a lot of imports, and it is Abidjan. It is a Cotonou seaport, and then by road. If we succeed in building Lagos Kano Maradi Railway, instead of imports by Niger Republic going through Cotonou seaport and then by land up, they will be landing in Lagos seaport and taking those imports through rail from Lagos seaport to Ibadan, to Kano, and then to Maradi. So Nigeria will be seizing the import trade of Niger Republic, of so many other landlocked countries. So that is the rationale. It's not about a lot of people build ethnicity into it. What the Nigerian government is doing is to think business. How do we catch these incomes on seaport utilization and on rail utilization?
We'll go on this break, Honorable Minister. When we come back, we'll look at insecurity in the country and many other issues. It's still 32 FM 94.9. Don't go away. It's still the podium on this dial.
Egbògi kan ti délẹ̀ yìí, egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣe ni, ó dára fẹ̀jẹ̀ gidi gan. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o.
Ojú rẹ̀ ṣàǹjọ̀lọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ kí làṣírí ẹ wà rí.
Veneto cleanser ni.
Já mi sí ọ̀rẹ́.
Veneto cleanser. Egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ṣe tí bádọ̀tí ara wọ̀ yá ìjà rẹ̀ wọ́n mọ́lẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n yẹbẹyẹbẹ. Inú tó ń kú tó ń dàrú gbòdògbòdò. Kò bára rẹ̀ èrí inú ẹ̀jẹ̀. Amọ̀nà ti dé o. Veneto cleanser. Egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ṣe tí a fi ewé àti egbò ṣe ní ọ̀nà tìgbàlódé. NAFDAC fòǹtẹ̀lù MA1 Nigeria Limited ni wọ́n gbé Veneto cleanser jáde. A wà ní nọ́mbà 17 Ọba Akínyẹlé off Adeogun Street, Aláàfin Avenue, Olúyọ̀lé Estate, Ring Road, Ìbàdàn. Telephone 08034051533 fún títà àti rírà. Ìwọ náà darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Veneton cleanser, àmọ̀tẹ́kùn egbòogi tí ya gbogbo kòkòrò inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́.
àrí kí n dẹ̀ra fóònù ní tuntun kó dẹ̀ máa gbóná he bí búrẹ́dì yọ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ yọ nú òfun báyìí. ṣé kò ṣe pọ́n ti gbèrú mi látẹ̀yìn báyìí. wọn ò lè má gbèrú ọ̀ látẹ̀yìn sódẹ̀kẹ́ torí pé pàdé lọ́ọ́ máa dá lórí ọ̀rọ̀ fóònù. kí mo dẹ̀ máa ṣe ebi mo sọ fún ọ pé tó o bá ti fẹ́ ra fóònù tí ò ní yọ ọ́ lẹ́nu. Owó Source Phone and Electronic Stores ní kó o máa lọ. ilé ìtajà fóònù tó fi máa wọn nǹkan èlò ilé tó ń lona tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lálẹ́ hùn Ìbàdàn síkú yàtọ̀ sí gbàgì. Owó Source Phones and Electronic Stores ló mójúlẹ́jà fóònù tuntun tó jẹ́ quality tó sì pápò ṣọ̀rẹ́ látòrí Samsung tó fi dórí Nokia Nokia, Tecno, Infinix, INT'L, Oppo tí wọ́n sọ púpọ̀ ní Òwú Source. Wọ́n ta fóònù àti electronics, wọ́n tún fóònù ṣe, wọ́n sì tún ṣe SIM registration. Kódà ẹ tún lè fi fóònù àlòkù yín gba tuntun, ìyẹn swap deal lọ́nà tí ò ní níyín lára. Bákan náà èyíkéyìí phone accessories tẹ́ bá ń fẹ́ ó kúnlẹ̀ bí ẹrù. Wọ́n wà ní number 1 Ìtẹ̀síwájú house along Radio Nigeria Road, Dùgbẹ̀ Ìbàdàn, tàbí ní suite 2 Ọláolúwa complex Ọjọ́ roundabout Ọjọ́ Ìbàdàn. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 090-4986-6985. Òwú Source, ilé ẹrù fún fóònù tó jẹ́ ojúlówó.
Golden Mon, your favorite breakfast cereal, is 35 years. Made in Niger, for Niger, by Niger. Now see us from Niger to the world.
Global now.
All thanks to you. So let's celebrate this journey with over 35 million in cash and prizes. Just return 2 empty 900-gram Heritage Edition sachets to your closest redemption center for an instant prize and a chance to be a millionaire. Visit the Golden Morn Nigerian pages on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
lóòótọ́ lódodo ẹ̀kọ́ ní ìmọ̀lẹ̀ láti wá wẹ̀yán kàn yege jáde tán nínú ìdánwò WAEC NECO àti UTME apex tutorial classes ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ gbáradì fún gbogbo àwọn ọmọ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ pátá bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti jẹ́ SS1 to 3 àti SS1 to 3 ẹ̀yin òbí àtàlágbàtọ́ ẹ tara ṣàṣà lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ forúkọ ọmọ yín sílẹ̀ fún ìdánwò WAEC NECO àti UTME lọ́dún 2022 ọ̀fẹ́ ní ìforúkọsílẹ̀ o kí ogun God àtòṣe pípa àbáàdì ó lè bá kásẹ̀ nílẹ̀ nínú ilé yín bọ́mọ yín bá ti gbèsè ìdánwò. apex tutorial classes a wà ní Ọláwálé shopping complex Mọ́nàtán market Mọ́nàtán Ìbàdàn lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ GT Bank Awólọ́wọ̀ junction Bódìjà Ìbàdàn àtúwà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ Mobil petrol station UI Ọjọ́ road Ìbàdàn a wà ní ẹ̀gbẹ́ Mazak petrol station Oríta Apẹ̀rẹ̀ Ìbàdàn tó fi mọ́ ẹ̀gbẹ́ Zenith Bank Best way Ìwó road Ìbàdàn. Fún àlàyé ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ 0805-085-4922 àbí 0817-202-7411 apex tutorial classes ọ̀nà àbáyọ láti ṣe àṣeyọrí nínú ìdánwò.
tó bá lọ gbéra bitters gbogbo ìbàdí ro mí ẹ̀yìn ro mí ó tètè rẹ̀ mí àti jẹ̀dí ṣe mí lọ́gán ló máa dọ̀rọ̀ ìtàn ẹni Riobo bitters ẹni Riobo global ventures àwọn ló gbé jáde.
Tani o gbéra bitters wọ̀lú ọ̀gídé korea bíi ti kàkà bàjá akọni egbògi amáragbá yagiyagi marakùnrin takẹ́gbẹ́gbẹ́ra lẹ́sàrà gírí ṣe bí akọni tó bá dojú iṣẹ́. gbéra bitters egbògi omimu tá a ṣe tí ò lọ tínú rárá pẹ̀lú ìmọ̀ ìwádìí ìjìnlẹ̀ tó gbọ̀ngbọ́n pẹ̀lú rẹ̀ kó gbọ́sẹ̀ wò. bírílòlógó jí àkì bọ́kùnrin ẹ̀yẹ lórí ìtẹ́ tó bá ti wọnú oríkèéríkèé ara òǹgọ̀gọ̀ lọ sọmọjí máa ń lẹ̀ bẹ́ jíga gbọ́ra jigijigi takùnrin tó bìnrin náà lẹ lọ. iléeṣẹ́ ẹni Riobo global ventures ló ń ṣe jáde. NAFDAC fọ̀ǹtẹ̀lù wọ́n wà ní nọ́mbà 33 Ondo street lẹ́bàá Sotoko avenue Old Bodija Ìbàdàn. ó ti wà káàkiri ilé ìtajà bẹ́ẹ̀ la wà alágbàtà káàkiri ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà 07067197812 gbéra bitters gbàgbára tí ó sọ ọ́ dọkùnrin gangan.
Daniel Kolenda is coming to Ibadan, Nigeria. I will be there.
Ego Shelo. Papa Chineke God wants show a powerful hand again for Ibadan.
Now, big powerful gospel crusade with anointed of God Daniel Kolenda will take over mantle from great evangelist Riyad Bonki.
This na 4-day crusade we go begin for the march from Thursday 11 go reach Sunday 14 November 2021 for Amsterdam, Wofo Lodo Iwo Road Ibadan from 4 p.m. every day.
Papa God where in be miracle worker go give salvation, healing, deliverance together with signs and wonders wey go shake the devil.
Na so fire conference go shele for all believers from Thursday 11 go reach Saturday November 13 from early morning 6:30 o'clock for the same place answer down Wofo Lodo Iwo Road Ibadan.
Glorious hand of Papa God done already the shake Ibadan.
For this ogbonge 4-day powerful gospel crusade with evangelist Daniel Kolenda. No carry last oh Jesus na Baba.
Golden Mon, your favorite breakfast cereal, is 35 years. Made in Niger, for Niger, by Niger. Now see us from Niger to the world.
Global now.
All thanks to you. So let's celebrate this journey with over 35 million in cash and prizes. Just return 2 empty 900-gram Heritage Edition sachets to your closest redemption center for an instant prize and a chance to be a millionaire. Visit the Golden Morn Nigerian pages on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Kala pasapasa pelisizwe siyama iwasa Alpha. He sees the servant. Allah Mulava. And God can listen. When my modo.
All right, welcome back. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. My guest so far has been the former Honorable Minister of Communications in Nigeria, in person of Barrister Adebayo Shitu. He's also a chieftain in the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State. On Facebook, Tajuddin Bola Omoyemi is saying, please, 2023 is near. What can be the resolution to this problem? Because the Yoruba Day says, and I quote, "Nkan to bang pe." Okay, I can't. It's not really clear. Okay, nkan to bang pe nkan ko kin yamo. Okay,
nkan bang pe yamo.
Okay, that's
okay.
Okay, it wasn't really clear here. May Almighty God crown our efforts. That's coming from Tajuddin Bolahon Moyemi. Okay, greetings to you, Adekunle Ishola there, and I have here Akintokumbo Adejumo. He's saying the minister hasn't got any ideology. What politician in Nigeria has got an ideology? Okay, that's your own thoughts there. Okay, Sapphire Ayinde Sodiq saying, okay, greetings. It seems this discourse is becoming interesting. Awolowo ideology indeed. While what they all believe is their own satisfaction, that is their own priority. That's coming from Sapphire Ayinde Sodiq. Honorable former minister, I beg your pardon. Okay, let's look at the case of insecurity in the country. You said President Muhammad Buhari's regime is doing well. However, insecurity is a big challenge to this administration. And there seems to be no end in sight to all these things. How do you think it can be mitigated?
Thank you for this question. The Onyibos say that tough times don't last.
But this one has lasted.
I'm coming.
Yeah, this one has lasted so far.
Nigeria is 61 years old.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
And it is unfortunate that we are in the kind of situation we are. Let me tell you, the insecurity you have, particularly in the Northwest. I mean, the Northwest easily is the worst place. The criminals did not start with kidnapping. They started with cattle rustling some 10 years ago.
Yeah,
they go to a community where the cattle is, being taken care of. In the night, they run away with the cattle into the bush. Over time, they discover that those who nurture these cattle, who are employed to nurture cattle, their salaries may be 7,000 in a month. And that involves walking for hundreds of kilometers all across the country to look for food for the cattle. Some people will come and then just take it. So they soon discover that to kidnap one person, you could make much more money than rustling 100 cattle. That's why they abandoned cattle rustling. So it didn't just start this year or last year. It started some 10 years ago in the Northwest.
Yeah.
And ever since it happened, if you are a lawyer, you know that even where you have, if they kidnap somebody now, and you suspect that, they are in a particular place, unless you are able to secretly walk to that place and arrest those people and rescue the victim. If you try to bomb that location, both the victim and the criminals will equally be eliminated.
Yeah.
So it is a war, but it is not a regular war. It requires a lot of, getting information and all of that. And you look at the North. The North is more, the 19 northern states, in terms of land area, is about 5 times the whole of the South. So large expanse of land forest land for that matter. A lot of people think the north is desert. It's not desert. There are swaths of forest land. So it's a very, horrible war. But I want to assure you that the armed forces are doing a wonderful job in eliminating scores and scores of these kidnappers who are in the bush all over. You recall that it is only during this administration that Nigeria was able to acquire Tucano, jet fighters. These to buy Tucano, they don't, just manufacture it and put it there for sale. You have to first order, then they design and manufacture. It takes 2 years.
Honorable sir, when you talk about Tucano jets, what I know about Tucano jets from the little research I made when these things came out, Tucano jets use propellers. And when you're attacking bandits or you're attacking enemies with a Tucano jet, they hear you from afar. These are obsolete jets. These are jets that are...
Are you denying the fact that scores of kidnappers and bandits are being attacked and being destroyed in the northwest?
I'm not disputing the fact.
You see, that is what... Don't worry about whether it is Tucano jet or not.
Okay.
The truth is that jets are being used to bomb kidnappers and bandits all over, to the extent that now a lot of these bandits are migrating from the northwest into north central, into Niger, even into Yoruba land now. They are migrating because the northwest is becoming too hot for them. So that is an effort by the government. And if you have 100 kidnappers and government succeeds in killing 5, there are no more 100. There are certainly no more 100.
You said they've started migrating based on the dislocation from the northwest.
From the Air Force, yes, in the northwest.
And now, so most of them have relocated down southwest.
They are coming down south.
Even in Oyo State.
Only 2 days ago, about 18 of them were arrested in Ondo State.
In Ondo State. Yes. Even in Oyo State, at some point we had issues with them at
Ibarakwa,
and that and all that.
Action was taken then, even then. Yeah. Even though the action in Igagan was delayed. I mean, it was not taken timeously enough. But at least we thank God that stability and peace has been restored to even Ibarakwa land.
So it means the governor did well by doing that.
Well, I have said it that it was not done timeously enough. But it took, let me tell you, it took Igboho, now outlawed, to rescue the people there. I mean, you won't expect that it is Buhari who would come and rescue people in Igagan when we have a sitting governor who is supposed to be the chief security officer.
Finally, before we round it off here on this segment of the podium, you mentioned Sunday Igboho now. What are you doing in your own capacity to make sure that this Yoruba son, Sunday Igboho, you said he's outlawed now, but what are you doing in your own capacity?
As an individual, I have no role to play. I know that Sunday Igboho has lawyers. His case is not in Nigeria. His case in the Republic. And a lot of Yoruba leaders have, moved around to get lawyers for him.
Yeah.
And I want to believe that work is going.
Work is going on.
I want to believe that.
Okay. It's been awesome speaking with you, Honorable, former Honorable Minister Barrister Adebayo Shitu. But before that, there's a question here on YouTube from Oluwatosin Aina. He says, my question for Barrister Shitu is that he said APC constitution does not recognize anybody as a leader, either at state level or national. Does APC as a party recognize Asiwaju as the leader or not?
I have said it, being leader is being customary. If the majority accept you as leader, so be it. And I want to say with due respect to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that not only Yoruba APC elements recognize him, throughout the country is recognized as the national leader.
You recognize him too?
Why not?
You recognize
Why
him as
not?
the leader? You're one of the majority, right?
Of course.
But you're not one of the majority that recognizes Motuba Dubai and Lawakala as the leader in Oyo State.
The question you ask, which will give you the distinction, is what has Asiwaju Tinubu done, or what has he been doing for the party at national level, and what is our elder brother Egmowa Bayo Akala been doing? If you check, I mean, if you do your research, Perhaps you get an answer.
Adebayo Lawakala may be advising the party on the state level as the chairman, right? He's doing something.
Chairman of Elders Committee, of course.
He's doing something. He's advising, right?
No. I mean, if you talk of advice, everybody advises. And I've always maintained this. You know, you say we have several leaders in the APC. I'm one of the leaders with all sense of humility. And as a matter of fact, I have also been more or less the spokesperson for the Unity Forum. I mean, that is a leadership position. So he's also doing his own bit. You know, we are all doing our bits. The job on hand is that of the body of an elephant. Wherever side you see, it is that part you see.
When too many elephants fight, the grass suffers, right?
Not too many elephants are not fighting.
You have so many strong men in the APC.
You see, it's not about strength. It's about logic. It's about law and order. I mean, you have to make a distinction.
Thank you for
featuring. There are no fisticuffs involved.
Yeah. Thank you for featuring on this segment of the podium this morning. I've been speaking with the former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, former communications minister, Barrister Adebayo Shitu. It was an awesome time having you, and I hope I'll get to speak with you very soon to get updates from the party.
It will always be my pleasure. I'm a man of public affairs, and I always like to connect with the people so that, you know, we enlighten them as to what is going on and what direction they'll be advised to take.
It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides, and I am Chike Obogo. I'll be looking at leadership, the role of leadership in Nigeria. We'll be listening to that, and after that, by 10:30, I'll be speaking with a medical doctor. Stay tuned, don't go away.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama iwasafa isizo saba kavula moyo haniko kalize wemaye wemodo wasafasa.
All right, welcome back. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. I am Chike Obogo. We're moving to another segment of the podium this morning, and we'll be looking at some of these issues of leadership. Before that, let me play you this song. It's been a long while by Etc. It's been a very long time where I heard from him.
Ring the alarm. There's a thief in the government house. Ring the alarm. Before they blame it on Mickey Mouse. Who will save us all? Who will save us all? Save us all. How many people have to cry? How many more will have to die in the name of politics? Manifestos and rhetorics to steal, portfolios filled with bills for thugs to kill. In the name of politics, when will our leaders realize we are brothers in God's eyes? In the name of politics, Ajibole, ole, Ajibole, ole, Ajibole.
Welcome back. Etc. there. The 34th President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower, said that the supreme quality for leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. That's by John Maxwell. How many among our leaders can we say fit the description of Eisenhower and Maxwell? Do we have visionary leaders properly communicating their ideologies to the people while also getting the job done effectively? Like in Singapore, when they had Lee Kuan Yew, commonly referred to by his initials LKY, and sometimes referred to in his earlier years as Harry Lee, was the first Prime Minister of Singapore, governing for 3 decades. Lee is recognized as the nation's founding father, with the country described as transitioning from the third world country to first world country in a single generation. Let us take a look at Lee Kuan Yew's thoughts on development and leadership in the world, especially when he had his issues with when he helped Singapore grow. Then, let's listen to Lee Kuan Yew.
The Japanese occupation, which taught me the meaning of life, society, power. I understood then what happened in Nazi Germany or in Southeast Asia when the Japanese surrendered. And also that if you have that same power but used to good ends, you can reshape a society for the better. We were motivated by an intense desire to create a fairer and more just society, where man does not exploit his fellow man because he's a different color, or different race, or different religion.
All right, Lee Kuan Yew there. For Lee Kuan Yew, it was clear that for a nation to beat corruption and build a just society, the cleansing has to start at the very top. In his speech for the African Leadership Forum in Singapore on November 8, 1993, he said, and I quote, "Once a political system has been corrupted right from the very top leaders to the lowest rungs of the bureaucracy, the problem is very complicated. The cleansing and disinfecting has to start from top and go downwards in a thorough and systematic way. It is a long and laborious process that can be carried out only by a very strong group of leaders with the strength and moral authority derived from unquestioned integrity." End of quote. Lee Kuan Yew was such a leader who was charismatic and transformational. At the same time, with the ability to adapt with changing times, it is because of his contributions. Today, Singapore is one of the richest, the cleanest, the least corrupt, and an attractive global city. Let us look at this person again. According to Arikanki in a publication, leadership issue is at the heart of the challenges facing Nigeria at the moment, and indeed, it is also the solution. In Nigeria today, there's excruciating poverty, insecurity, political uncertainty, bad roads, youth unemployment, and corruption requiring creativity, innovation, decisive leadership, and people involvement to design solutions to them. According to Chinua Achebe in the book, The Trouble with Nigeria, published in 1983, he professes that the only trouble with Nigeria is the failure of leadership, because with good leaders, Nigeria could solve its inherent problems. Quoting him, "The trouble with Nigeria is simply and squarely a failure of leadership. There is nothing basically wrong with the Nigerian character. The Nigerian problem is the unwillingness or inability of its leader to rise to responsibility, to the personal example, which are the hallmarks of true leadership." A former Ghanaian president, a military leader and politician, he is late now, J.J. Rawlings, Jerry John Rawlings. He spoke about leadership. Let us listen to J.J. Rawlings.
If we adopt more aggressive efforts at strengthening our monitoring institutions, especially those entrusted with the power to stir corruption, a major factor that restricts foreign direct investment. An African think tank recently reported that illicit financial outflows cost the continent between $38.4 billion and $25 billion between 2008 and 2010, respectively. Our countries do not fare any better in the annual corruption index of Transparency International. While there may be a lot of factors that enhance corruption, including the connivance of major global international players whose jurisdictions ironically exact huge penalties for white-collar fraud, Africa is primarily saddled with corruption because some members of a minority elite connive to rape the continent and ensure that the positive economic indices are only on paper and do not reach the pockets of the ordinary people of the country. We cannot continue to pay lip service to the strengthening, empowerment, and independent management of our multiple anti-corruption institutions. We live in countries where poor petty thieves get imprisoned for several years, while businessmen who evade taxes in millions of dollars or a politician who misappropriates millions of state funds escape punishment. These inequalities are recipes for the retrogression of our democracies, and we cannot allow the negative tide, the negative cycle to continue. As I said earlier, a democracy that cannot provide socioeconomic justice cannot be a healthy democracy and will remain vulnerable and fragile.
The voice of J.J. Rawlings there, late J.J. Rawlings, a former president of Ghana. Effective leadership is imperative for the attainment of any society's objective. But Nigeria is replete with cases of poor leadership. Some of our leaders lack vision. Some of them are engrossed with corruption and political bickering, leading to further mismanagement of public resources. And consequently, insecurity, economic setback, and other issues bedeviling the nation. A former federal minister, Obi Ezekwesili, comments on the problems of leadership in Nigeria.
Our governance landscape is a landscape of monopolized authority, power, responsibility, and zero accountability. That's what our democracy has been since 1959. What we need on the basis of the power that information technology gives to us is to now liberalize the market of governance. There is a governance market that we know that poor governance is a problem in our society. As a matter of fact, I say to people that our life situation where we're hearing this gen set disturb us at this conference is not so because we lack technical expertise. It is because of poor governance.
Obi Ezekwesili there, talking about poor governance. We'll go on a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll still look at the issue of leadership. What is Professor Lumumba saying about African leaders? We'll get to listen to that after this break. Don't go away. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9. I am Chike Obogo.
Golden Mon, your favorite breakfast cereal, is 35 years. Made in Niger, for Niger, by Niger. Now see us from Niger to the world.
Global now.
All thanks to you. So let's celebrate this journey with over 35 million in cash and prizes. Just return 2 empty 900-gram Heritage Edition sachets to your closest redemption center for an instant prize and a chance to be a millionaire. Visit the Golden Morn Nigerian pages on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Gbogbo ẹ̀yin oníbàárà Living Proof Supermarket ẹ ṣé àdúpẹ́ ẹ kú àfọmọnìyàn ṣe àjọṣepọ̀ wa ò ní bàjẹ́ o láti wá fẹ̀mí ìmoore hàn la ṣe ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ìfà òpin ọdún Living Proof Appreciation Promo fún yín láti jẹ̀bùn lórí èyíkéyìí ọjà tẹ́ ẹ bá rà ní Living Proof Bakery and Supermarket tówó rẹ̀ bá ti tó $20,000 20,000 naira upward tẹ́sí máa jàǹfààní ẹ̀dínwó lórí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọjà wa ohun jíjẹ ohun mímu beverages toiletries drinks àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tó fi máa wọn búrẹ́dì wa sardine bread loaf bread coconut bread àti èyíkéyìí búrẹ́dì tẹ́ bá rà pẹ̀lú àwọn nǹkan panu ní eatery section wa ní LP Plaza Ayégun Ọ̀lẹ́yọ̀ Road tó fi mọ́ Old Martin Pharmacy ní Lee City University àti ilé ìtajà Living Proof lópòpónà Ológun Ẹrú ládojúkọ Mania Filling Station ẹlẹ́ẹ̀lẹ́ tó fi mọ́ Old Pinnacle Building Fẹ́lẹ́lẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Ìfà òpin ọdún yìí ti ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ o yóò sì wá sópin ní December 31, 2021 láti jàǹfààní ẹ máa pe 080-3545-7120 Living Proof End of the Year Appreciation Promo àjọ jẹni.
bá a ṣe láwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ dókítà tíṣẹ́yé bẹ́ẹ̀ náà la láwọn àwòrán àṣà mẹkáníìkì tí ò ní dákún sòrò ọkọ̀ sọ́kọ̀ dálùpùpù. GMF Auto Services Limited bóyá ẹ̀ tí ì débẹ̀ wò ní ọ̀jẹ̀ mọ̀ pọ́nmọ́nàmọ́pa àwọn erin lákàtàbù irinṣẹ́ ni ó diagnose mọ́tò yín kẹ́sẹ́ bí wọ́n ti máa fẹnu fapò sórí carburetor wait and get ni kò ní lọ kábọ̀ tí machine bá ti ń discover problem láàmú fix ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ kan torí gbogbo original spare part ń bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ̀ bíbá àwọn aláràlù àtàwọn aláràtúntà gan tó wá ń kó lọ́pọ̀ yanturu ṣe rí pé gbogbo ń tẹ́ fẹ́ lójú kan ló wà.
Yes, so no go allow person wey no sabi damage your motor. Our services na consultancy, diagnosis, key programming, transmission repair, maintenance, spare part sales, plus plenty ogbonge things. GMF Auto Services Limited dey for number 3 Oni Lane beside White House Hotel behind Boys High School, Labawo, Ogunpa, Ibadan. Ẹ kọ́ pé wọ́n lórí aago náà kẹ́ ẹ mọ bó ṣe wà sí 0806-634-8917. tó o bá fẹ́ kẹ́mi ọkọ̀ rí ogun GMF ni ó yàn láàyò.
Ladies and gentlemen, uncles and aunties, daddies and mummies, brothers and sisters, and most importantly, children. It's the Christmas season. This December, as you prepare to eat the rice and chicken, go out on outings, and receive the gifts from 32FM Santa, remember, there are many children who have never had the experience of Christmas or Santa Claus. You can change that. To give the less privileged children the experience of Santa, call Tokwe on 0805-796-925 or Yellow CC on 0803-651-5050. Let's do this for them.
Yeah, Ibadan. It is that time of the year.
Let's hear it one more time, everybody.
Shattered Premium Experience 3 featuring Akintayo and Bright Band, DJ Slimzy, Hypeman, Advantage, comedians Shaylo, Kofi, Laugh Bash, Better, Remote, Snapper Boys, Dr. Smile, Tomiwa Sage, Archbishop, Laugh Doctor, Dexter, Etaya, MC Sam, and lots more. Music, J1, Terry Aquala, Fabulous Beats, Ruder, Laker Sax, Shade Black, and one more surprise artist. Host, Shatter, the Premium MC. Dates November 14th. Venue Bollard Event Center. New Garage Alao Akala Express. Ibadan. Time 4 p.m. Tickets silver table for 10. 200K. Gold table for 10. 500K. Premium table for 10. 1 million. Silver seats on the table. 20K. Gold seat on the table. 50K. Premium seat on the table. 100K. Tickets are strictly tables. For tickets, sponsorship, and inquiries, please call 090-2452-3620. Proudly supported by Larry Ham's Realty, Titan Farm, Mr. John's Furniture, Bollard's Event Center, ALS Foundation, and we shut down the city of Ibadan again.
Golden Mon, your favorite breakfast cereal, is 35 years. Made in Niger, for Niger, by Niger. Now see us from Niger to the world.
Global now.
All thanks to you. So let's celebrate this journey with over 35 million in cash and prizes. Just return 2 empty 900-gram Heritage Edition sachets to your closest redemption center for an instant prize and a chance to be a millionaire. Visit the Golden Morn Nigerian pages on Facebook and Instagram for more details. Golden Morn, make every day amazing.
Safasa pelisizo simnyama Iwasafa
Welcome back. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. And I am Chike Obogo. Before we went on that break, we were looking at leadership in Nigeria. Let us look at this. Richard Eweka, in a piece titled How to Hold Government Accountable to the People, said that ideally it is the responsibility of the Supreme Book of Law, its interpreters, and its enforcers to compel the government and public officers to submit to accountability. Ideally, because this is what the situation will be like, unfortunately, this ideal situation is not obtainable most times in Nigeria and in some other nations of the world. In this country, it is either the arm of law is too short to reach some people or its grip is too loose to keep others grounded. In Africa, except in rare cases, leadership has become a means of acquiring transgenerational wealth. Corruption abounds, and impunity has become the order of the day. Professor Patrick Lumumba speaks more on this precarious situation.
If you should see the convoy of an African minister, not a president, I'm not touching the president. The presidents are in a different world. The African minister will never queue. Oh, he's anathemic. Oh, the African minister is a demigod. Oh, Africa. The African counselor in your rural home, when they go to churches, not even if it is not their denomination, they saunter to the front seats. And even our latter-day clergymen will invite them to share their wisdom with the people, even if we know that they are village fools. If there is anything that we must learn from Western Europe, is that they have gone through enough problems and they are capable of organizing their affairs, and they have demystified political leadership. We must demystify political leadership going forward. And once we do that, and I think we can do it because I can now begin to see something happening in Africa. Young Africans are beginning to ask searching questions. Africans are beginning to recognize that corruption is a cancer in our body politic. They are beginning to recognize that those who want to buy their votes don't mean well for them. They are beginning to recognize that there is enough money to change their lives if the thieves are eliminated from the political arena. They are beginning to realize that commercialization of politics is a threat to democracy. They are beginning to rise up. And I think that those who have not smelled the coffee will be surprised. They will be surprised when the ground moves from under their feet. They'll be surprised when Africa begins to elect individuals who can demonstrate that they have ideas, because the politics of the 21st century is the politics of ideas and about competition of ideas. And therefore, when one is appointed into any public office because of the demands of the electorate, and this relationship between the African member of parliament or the African president and the electorate is a symbiotic relationship. It is symbiotic in a very perverse manner. And I suspect I'm misusing the word symbiotic, but I'll use it or misuse it nevertheless, to the extent that it explains my point. What happens is that it appears that the electorate has allowed the so-called leader, because many of them are misleaders, to remain in their positions of power and to acquire as much as they can, on the understanding that periodically their loot will be shared with them. It is some kind of Robin Hoodism of a latter-day kind. And this Robin Hood kind of politics is a little bit different, at least from my understanding. Robin Hood robbed the rich in order to share with the poor. But our latter-day African Robin Hoods are in the business of robbing from the poor in order to give a pittance to the very poor.
Professor Lumumba there. Did you hear him? Is he right with his assertions? Some will say yes. Many will say yes. Some will say no. How do we as citizens hold our leaders accountable? A rhetoric question. My next guest on the other segment of the podium will be a medical doctor, Dr. Olutola Akinshola. He is a principal medical officer at the Emergency Department, University College Hospital, Ibadan. What will we be discussing? We'll be looking at the National Health Emergency Bill 2020. This other segment is sponsored by Yaga with support from Luminate. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll get talking. What is this bill all about? What are we looking at? Stay tuned. Don't go away.
bá ti mú wọ́n ti dá fún ẹ̀yìn. Ogun bílẹ̀ afúnni ni wọ́n sọ, olóyún abẹ́rẹ́ láì ṣiṣẹ́ abẹ, ewé ń jẹ́, ogun jẹ́. Má ṣe lògùn without doctor's prescription. Mo tẹnu mọ́, call on doctor's attention if you need solution. Mo tẹnu mọ́. Too much is given, much is expected. Ìlera lọ́rọ̀, just give much is ìlera lọ́rọ̀. Live long and stay strong.
The podium is still the podium on 32 FM 94.9, the station where joy resides. On this segment of the podium, we'll be looking at the National Health Emergency Bill 2020. And like I said, my guest on this side of this program is Dr. Olutola Akinshola. He's the Principal Medical Officer of the Emergency Department, University College Hospital, Ibadan. He'll be throwing some light into some of these things. Let us get to understand, what is this bill all about? Do we wait for disasters to happen before we have an emergency contingent plan? We'll be looking at this. Remember, this part of this program is sponsored by the YAGA with the support from Luminate. The use of quarantine to curtail spread of infectious diseases gained prominence in the 14th century against the growing need to protect coastal cities from epidemics. Consequently, ships from infected ports on arrival in Venice, present-day Italy, were only cleared for landing after sitting at dock for 40 days. Consistent with this known practice, the British colonial government in Nigeria enacted the Quarantine Act, which came into force on the 27th day of May 1926. This is the 94th year of the existence of the Act, which has never been amended. Being in existence for almost a century, the obsolete nature of the Act became obvious with the emergence of COVID-19, currently ravaging the world, including Nigeria. By the powers given to the President under the Act, he has issued regulations for curtailing COVID-19, and the exercise of the power has been subject of wide debate among lawyers and public commentators. Consequently, the legislature felt the need for a robust legal framework that can be deployed in response to national health emergencies. This is the background that led to the National Health Emergency Bill 2020, which is before the Senate. With me this morning, I welcome again Dr. Olutola Akinshola. Doctor, it's good to have you in the studios of 32 FM.
Good morning, Chike, and good morning to listeners, especially those in Ibadan.
All right, quickly, let's hit the ground running. Emergency Bill, the National Health Emergency Bill. The question is, do we wait for pandemics to happen? If not because of the COVID-19 outbreak, these bills will not start trickling out and all that. How do we effectively manage emergencies in Nigeria?
Well, the truth of the matter is health does not exist in a vacuum. As health does not exist in a vacuum, also the biggest achievements of man have actually happened during wars, during droughts, and during times of adversity. Now, the bill is as a result of the pandemic. The last pandemic was actually 1918, the Spanish flu, which killed about 500,000 Nigerians in 1918, according to history. And that bill in 1926 was actually a reflection of that episode. But since then, there hasn't been another pandemic of national or even international renown that affected Nigeria. So
okay,
that is why.
Before we look at the pandemics that have affected Nigeria and the world over, let me reel out some of these pandemics for our dear listener at home. Remember, between 1899 to 1923, there was this cholera outbreak in India, and hundreds of thousands died. From 1918 to 1920, the new influenza virus, popularly known as the Spanish flu, ravaged Spain. 500 million people were infected and 50 million people died. In 1948, the World Health Organization was created to replace the League of Nations Health Organizations between 1920 and 1948. And after that, in 1957 to 1958, just 1 year, the Asian flu, also known as the H2N2, ravaged Singapore. 1 million people died. From 1961 till date, cholera broke out. It started from Indonesia, and it has spread all over the world. Millions. Exact figures are unknown, as it is still going on up to date. Even in Nigeria, we had some cases of a cholera outbreak recently. From 1968 to 1969, there was this flu, H3N2. It broke out in Hong Kong. Over 1 million people died. The last case was detected in Somalia in 1977, but it was eradicated in 1980. 1 in 3 infected persons died at that period. We also have the HIV/AIDS, which broke out in the US from 1981, even up till date, it's still there. Tens of millions have died. Between 2002 and 2003, remember, there was this SARS, the SARS flu. It emanated from China. Over 800 people died. And then 2009 to 2010, the new influenza virus, H1N1, emanated from Mexico and the US, and more than 500,000 people died. In 2012, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, the MERS, started from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia then, and about 850 people died. Moving down, in 2014 to 2016, remember the Ebola crisis, which emanated from Guinea in West Africa. 11,000 deaths were recorded. We had the Zika virus from Brazil, less than 50 people, but some other cases came up unrecorded. Ebola came back again, 2018 till date, and is still there. From the Congo DRC, 2,300 deaths. Remember Dr. Stella Adadevo. Remember that woman? She died of Ebola. From 2019, December precisely, till date, the world is still torn between surviving the COVID-19 virus, which emanated from China. 171 million infections have been recorded so far. 3.7 million deaths recorded too, as at the 31st of May 2021. These are pandemics that have happened in time past. But when you look at these pandemics, there's something significant about it. It's always a 1 year duration. But when you look at the COVID-19 is spreading so fast. And even several stages, they said there's the first stage, the second stage, the third wave, and then there's a fourth wave again. And then people are asking, how do we contain this in this case of emergency?
Chike, you're right. Pandemics are part of humanity. They've always been, and they always will. I'm sorry to say, this is not the last pandemic. But there is no perfect piece of legislature. It is a dynamic and ongoing process. There was no need to make changes to the Quarantine Act until we had another pandemic.
Yeah.
That's the reality. It is, unfortunately, wars, times of difficulty that will need to dig deep and look for solutions to problems. Nobody solves a problem that does not exist.
Yes.
So it is when problems exist and our lives are sometimes going from one problem to another. So those problems that are not disturbing us, we generally leave them alone. So it is not strange that until something happens, you do not change legislation.
Okay, talking about legislation, some will ask, do we have the right pegs and the right holes that will make up these laws? Do we wait for these? Many of our legislators sometimes travel outside for medical tourism and leave what is supposed to be done within the country. And now the pandemic struck, and then we're looking for a way out.
Yes, you've mentioned, Chike, you've mentioned something important. But I'm of the opinion that things are getting better, albeit slowly. Because the last time they looked at the bill, they added some things which are very important.
Okay.
They added an expansion of the National Health Insurance scheme.
Yes.
And there was a floodlight shown on vulnerable people, pregnant women and children under the age of 5. And also an intensification of help towards primary health care. No matter the expert in the world, the person will appreciate these changes. Even our government, they will slowly but surely get better. And there are signs when you look around that things are improving. Yes, they are not improving as fast as we would wish, but I can see reason to have hope.
During the Ebola crisis, I remember then, the then governor of Lagos State, Batunde Raji Fashola, swung into action. And it was so spontaneous. The moment they started getting centers, isolation centers, and all that. But some would ask, many of the hospitals were there. There were no isolation centers. Was it until the Ebola crisis came up? And then there were, fire brigade approach to getting all these things done. Because some people will say we shouldn't wait for these things to happen before we fix it. Now, asking you from the medical angle as a doctor, what are those things we need to put in place so that we avert pandemic crisis, to have these emergencies in place first?
Well, Chike, the truth is there needs to be a lot of communication. Let's take disaster management, for instance.
Okay.
Let's take, because the pandemic is a disaster.
It's
a disaster is anything that overcomes whatever you've planned.
Yes.
That's a disaster. So this pandemic is a disaster. So let's talk about disaster management. How do you manage disasters? It is constant and continuous communication. Now, in the health system, there is meant to be a primary healthcare center.
Yes.
Maybe 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers from everybody's house. When you go there, it should solve 90% of people's problems. They should be well staffed, well trained with equipment. For 2 years, I worked in a primary healthcare center that was well funded. It's interesting that it is the most interesting and the most fulfilling job I've done as a doctor, where you really see the impact that you are making. And now, if 90% of our problems are solved by the primary healthcare center, 1.5 kilometers from your house, only 10% will need referral to the secondary healthcare centers. That's general hospitals. Those ones solve another 90% of your problems. And then the only 10% of those ones will now go to tertiary.
Yeah.
But the primary healthcare centers and the secondary healthcare centers are not really, they do not have the capacity and the funding to respond as they should. And if they do, there will be less pressure on the tertiary healthcare centers, and then when pandemics come, they will have enough to be able to respond.
So what you're saying is, for us to avert any pandemic or any disaster in the nearest future, our primary healthcare centers should be the major focus. If we can fix them, then majority of the problem is solved, right?
Yes, I have an analogy for that.
Okay.
Imagine they close down all primary schools in Ibadan and close down all secondary schools in Ibadan and tell all of them, Shebi, you are students and you are learning, all of you go to UI. How do you think that will work?
It will be more disaster.
Exactly, which is similar to what's happening right now. But I think the governor is trying. I passed by a primary healthcare center and I saw that it was being renovated. The COVID-19 vaccines were being given at the primary healthcare centers, which is as it should be. So I think there is hope for the future. I think it is slow. We are all expectant, which is natural. We are all hopeful, and the changes are slow. Because I even remember a couple of months ago, the Oyo State House of Assembly asked for the breakdown from our emergency department of the kind of patients we see, which means they are engaging, which is the first step. So we will push them and encourage them, but I think things are getting better and we have reason to be hopeful.
In the state, they seem to be engaging, right?
Yes, they do.
All right. We'll be looking at some of these issues again. We'll go on a short break. And when we come back, I still have a doctor with me. Dr. Akinshola is still here with me. And we'll be looking more into some comparative studies, looking at what is obtainable in South Africa, in Ghana, in Spain, and some other countries, and see how we can replicate it here in Nigeria. I'll open the phone lines later on. In case you're just tuning in, remember the number to call will be 070-550-949, 080-970-949. What are your thoughts? How do we manage crisis, especially when it comes to pandemics? What are these emergency things we have to put in place to avert further destruction and further disaster? It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9.
Without doctor's prescription, all on doctor's attention. If you need solution, too much is given, much is expected.
All right, welcome back. It's still the podium on 32 FM 94.9. This episode of the podium, this segment of the podium, is sponsored by Yaga with the supports from Luminate. And I still have Dr. Olutola Akinshola with me. He's the Principal Medical Officer, Emergency Department, UCH, Ibadan. Let's look at COVID-19 and its vaccination issues right now. Many people have, there are many things that come up in our dailies where governments of some states will enforce staff, civil servants, telling them to take jabs. If you don't take it, you won't get into the office and all that. But the records are here. Vaccination for COVID-19 in Nigeria started on the 5th of March, 2021. and about 1,956,598 people have received their first dose, representing 0.95% of the entire population of Nigeria. And 73,465 have received their second dose as at the close of business as at May 31st, 2021. Many people have also gone ahead to receive their doses. But the question I want to ask you, Doc, is this. Isn't this a source of concern as the number of people vaccinated is so abysmally low at 0.95% of the entire population of the country? Shouldn't we be worried?
Well, Chike, yes, it is a source of worry. But it is a complicated question. There are some legal issues there, and there are some public health. It's primarily a public health issue. Now, for instance, can you justify a doctor who is not vaccinated treating people? That means he's a risk to people.
Yeah.
And by extension, it may also be the same for a civil servant. People come, for instance, let's imagine the licensing office at the secretariat.
Yeah.
The person that is attending the people is not vaccinated and sees hundreds of people a day. Can you justify that? So it is, we also preach freedom of choice, but there's a public health emergency. We are in a disaster.
Are health workers trained enough? Do you have enough health workers that are trained in infection prevention and control?
Interestingly enough, healthcare is local. Healthcare is local. Before this COVID-19, we had Lassa fever.
Yes.
And I can tell you there are some places in this country, Nigeria, where Lassa fever is endemic. That means they have Lassa fever every day of the year. So, yes. And I'll also tell you that in the places where you have Ebola endemic, the doctors there know how to treat it. That is not our problem. Our problem is false information, wrong information being peddled about COVID-19 vaccines. Fear. People are afraid, and we need to educate them more.
Can you do that in some minutes? What is it that people should believe now? How do you dispel these rumors? Okay, you take this jab, someone took 2 jabs, he died, someone did this. All these fake news being peddled around.
Well, the truth is, I am vaccinated, for instance. I've taken my 2 jabs.
Okay.
I have my evidence to prove that. The truth is, you cannot force people, especially adults. But the truth is, we are a young country. Most of our population is below 40 years. That means they are healthy. That means a lot of them can even have COVID-19 and not show any symptoms.
They'll be asymptomatic.
Yes. But the problem is they will give it to their family members and their vulnerable people in their house without realizing it.
Especially people with underlying illness.
Yes. So people who can think deeply will realize that you're not taking, as a young person, you're not taking the vaccine for yourself, primarily. It's actually to protect vulnerable people around you, young children, elderly, and people with pre-medical conditions.
Are there any side effects to these, to the jabs?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. There are. For instance, when I took my jab, I felt sleepy.
Okay.
People have some people have very serious reactions to it. But as a public health tool, it saves lives. It saves a lot of lives and also reduces the possibility of even serious illness. You are very unlikely to die from it if you've had your vaccination, and you are very unlikely to have even serious illness. And then you are unlikely to even transmit it. So these are good enough reasons, in my mind, to take the vaccination.
Do you have any question for the doctor? You can join this conversation 070-55000-949, 080-97000-949. You have questions? Let me ask you this. What do you think the government should do to create an enabling environment to avert disasters in the nearest future? Did you listen to Dr. Akinshola earlier? He said this might not be the end of the pandemic. There are some others that will come later. He was just being truthful, as he said. You have questions? You join the conversation. Before we receive our calls, let's look at this. I asked you earlier on, this fear of death, sensitization to the grassroots where we have primary healthcare centers. Has it been achieved? Has it been done in the past or in recent time?
Well, Chike, the truth is, I don't think anybody will say they've not heard about COVID-19 presently. I'm not sure anybody will also say they've not heard about vaccination. But I know there have been some problems with accessing the vaccines in the primary healthcare centers and the centers where it's given. But it's not always easy to get a lot of people or most people to engage at the same time. But I want to encourage people not to wait until there's a negative outcome before they now start rushing to take it.
Is there an end in sight to this pandemic called COVID-19? Because we had the first wave, second wave, third wave, on the fourth wave, the Delta variant. Is there an end in sight to it, or are we expecting more waves?
Well, I think the wise and prudent thinking is that we should expect more waves. Let's not put our heads in the sand like the proverbial ostrich. We may have more waves, and we should prepare for it.
So what do we do to mitigate casualties?
The first thing now is vaccination. Then after vaccination, we'll mask, reduce unnecessary gatherings, reduce also the amount of outings we go on, social distance, use your sanitizers or wash your hands, and all these public health precautions. They are very helpful in reducing the spread.
You didn't mention the use of nose mask. Is it effective too?
I did mention face mask.
Some complain that it chokes them.
Well, there are also face shields that are not masks. They are also quite effective.
Very effective.
Yes, they are.
Thank you, Dr. Akinshola, for featuring on this segment of the podium. Dr. Akinshola is the Principal Medical Officer, Emergency Department, University College Hospital, Ibadan. Remember, this segment of the podium is proudly sponsored by Yaga with the support from Luminate. My producer is Olutayo Ogwade. Thank you for listening. I am Chike Obogo. The podium comes your way next week, Saturday. My heartfelt greetings to Ezekiah Kiride, who's been under the weather for a while now. I worked alongside Moriyanoluwa this morning as my studio manager. Until I come your way next week, Saturday, enjoy your weekend. From 32 FM, I say good morning.